The following video is going to have a ton of cat pictures in it. So that's the good news. The bad news is that it's also going to tell you the story about when my cat left his broken, little, feline, cancer-ridden body to become a concept. One that I think can be really helpful for anyone who has experienced loss, trauma, grief. There are some wonderful lessons from my cat that I would love to share with all of you.
Hi everyone, Nigel here. I'm sporting my swanky new hairstyle I just got today.
Ooh la la.
So Heather asked me to explain a bit about the little image I made for the Chubsian way. And essentially, I tried to encapsulate Chubs in a little cartoon image. Based on the original, Chinese lucky cat with the paw that does that, and that is just that when Heather mentions he just said please automatically when begging for treats. I thought, right, well, there's the great starter right there, and then I copied his patterning. I tried to get his black patches. More or less
his
correct.
T&R ear.
He's got his little clipped ear, the little scar on his eye, little pink nose, and the fact that he would often do a little blep when he wanted treats, and the funky alien script above his head says Elite Chubs, which means clan of Chubs, Chubs' clan. He's holding a little sign that says Skran Gedetje, which is Mandalorian for food please. Because that was basically his entire existence. Food please. And the other thing underneath him is Shereshoi, which is the Mandalorian term for living, for having a lust for life, joy, sort of thing. And orange is the Mandalorian color for Shereshoi. So that's it. He lust for life, joy, food please. That basically sums up Clan Chubs.
Maybe we should also make a version of that where it says hugs please, because he was into food and hugs.
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to find a Mandalorian word for hugs.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think they have 17 different words for stab. I think the closest you can get to hug in Mandalorian is non-lethal grappling.
I don't think that's the same. Let's keep it with food. Okay.
Let's keep it with food.
Let's keep it with food. I honestly think you were probably a little bit surprised. Not only by how emotional we all were, but how emotional you were too. It was just...
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. I've never had a furry pet in my life before. Because when we lived in the USA, the first time around, we always lived in rented places and they wouldn't allow pets. So I could have, small pets I could keep in terrariums, that sort of thing. But I never had a fuzzy pet my entire life. Chubs really helped me make a connection with cats. And see that they each have their individual personalities. And I'm gonna miss him.
He was a good guy. And you were a good guy. I love you. Okay, I think we should wrap this one up because I feel like I need to hug you and stuff. Okay.
Tired and emotional here.
Yes. What is that from again?
Tired and emotional, that's an old English way of saying drunk, but...
Not yet.
Not
but
yet.
It's Saturday. It's early still.
Yeah.
A little caveat, though, to really make sure that this makes sense contextually. One is that the cats don't live here in my home. They live with my business partner. A little bit of disclaimer. My business partner, or ex-business partner, because I've since bought him out, we were roommates all the way up until I married my husband. And the cats stayed with him because two of them were very bonded to him, and my cat was kind of the outlier. My cat was bonded to his two cats. We tried bringing him home here, but he spent the entire time meowing and looking around for his friends. His friends were that important to him. That's the kind of cat that Chubbs was. So we knew that it would be unkind to bring him here where he would be alone. So Chubbs stayed with John. So the big caveat here is that John is a bachelor, and his house really looks like it. So when I show you pictures of the cats in that home, if you're the kind of person who gets triggered easily by dirty carpets, this is your heads up there. There's going to be a lot of dirty carpet in these pictures of the cats. When I lived with him, the place was a lot cleaner, and I think you'll be able to tell the difference in the images.
What's going on? Huh? What do you got to say? Huh?
So there's that. And then the other thing is the rapidity with which this happened. I was actually trying to make this video for several days before we actually had to put him down. Because as of last week, he had a clean bill of health. So it basically is this timeline. Friday, he just had a little bit of a tummy upset. Give him some medicine orally, he'll be fine. He started to lose more weight even during the weekend. Stopped eating and drinking. We took him back to the vet Monday. And the rest is history. If you're a pet parent, it's like universal. We all know the score. We all know our role in this is to make sure that they feel loved and that we give them what they give us. He's just a real good cat. If you have ever lost a fur baby, or if the thought of losing one puts the fear in you, if you've gone through that, I feel you. I really do. He's going to the vet tomorrow, and I don't know what the outcome's gonna be. We'll see how it goes.
Hi, everybody. My cat has lymphoma. He's 16 years old, and tomorrow we're gonna put him down. His name is Chubs, and he is the world's best cat. I'm heavily biased, but he is the world's best cat. And I was very worried about today, because today we were getting the ultrasound of his abdomen to see what was going on. And I was very concerned that it would be bad news, and it was.
I didn't shoot any footage from yesterday, Tuesday, March 28th, because I was a basket case the whole day. The whole thing just happened really, really fast. I was not expecting that he would have cancer and that he would deteriorate that quickly. It was shockingly fast. Love is everything. You lead with love, and you go out with love. Because towards the end, he couldn't even hold his little head up. He was obviously broken. I'm putting some pictures on the screen right now of his last 12 hours. I mean, he was desperate to be around us. And when he went out on my lap, surrounded by people who loved him, petting him, purring. And that's really consistent with how he would enter any room or situation. Because, like, anytime you come over, he'll walk right up to the door like a dog to say hi to you. He won't try to leave. He'll just casually walk right up to the door and sit down and wait for you to pet him. When he wants something for a treat, he puts his paw up, and sometimes he'll stick his tongue out, like he'll blep to get a treat. And because he did that when I got him, I was able to teach the other two cats how to do that. And now all three of them do it. And he was so, so sweet that I had to adopt him. And so when I went to adopt him, the guy behind the counter, right, clearly a member of the Rainbow Tribe, my heart. And so he started crying and he said, "I'm so happy. This is such a special cat." And that will always stand out to me Because he is. He's a really special cat. I was telling Nigel earlier that all 3 of my cats have wonderful temperaments, and I think it's because Chubbs was just so chill. He was just such a sweet, chill cat. And that's why I knew something was wrong with him, because he never passed down food, and he wouldn't take treats from me. He's not eating his dinners, but just the sweetest cat in the universe. If you consider the fact that Chubbs was abandoned not once, but twice before I got him, that he had a really, really bad parasitic infection that almost killed him, that he was a TNR kitty when he could have been captured by animal control and he could have gone to a kill shelter. Instead, he ended up in a parking lot where someone rescued him and then took him to a no-kill shelter. I mean, there are so many places along the way where he could have died, and yet he survived. And not only that, but throughout all of that stuff, his approach to life and people never changed. Throughout all the trauma and the abandonment, he maintained an attitude of openness and trust and love and affection, and he was not a dumb animal. This is an animal that, yes, got very lucky, but was also incredibly smart, because his strategy was people equal good stuff. So I need to be wherever the people are. I need to be where the people are. That was his theme. Like, he needed to be wherever people are because people will keep him safe. And there's a lot to learn in that. Because, yeah, I'm sure he met some very, very nasty people and experienced nasty things along the way. But because he kept himself open and he kept trying, he beat the odds. And that's how he ended up with me. There's an important lesson in there. That when you're experiencing trauma, when you're experiencing pain, there are basically 2 ways you could go about handling it. You can shut down, you can isolate, you can try to be stoic and handle it on your own. Which, you know, that's not an incorrect way of doing it, but it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. For some people, it's a better approach to be open, to reach out for people and comfort, to share those stories, and to build bridges, build connections with that pain. Not because of the pain, but because of the commonality, the universality of those sorts of high emotion experiences that show us how connected we are to each other and how much we need each other. But it's definitely appropriate to be compassionate towards yourself in those moments. You know, if you're the cable guy, he loves you. If you are a vet tech putting a thermometer in his bottom, he loves you. When I drove Penny and Chubbs, this is before we got Dexter, from Ohio to Georgia, they didn't meow, they didn't fuss, they didn't freak out at all. Penny was like maybe 8 months old, and Chubbs, you know, we adopted him as an adult kitty, so he was almost 5. And he was just so chill. He just sat there staring at me. I mean, he was in his carrier, it had mesh sides, and he just sat there staring at me. His little paws tucked under, just chill, watching me drive. And Penny just kind of took cues from Chubbs and just kind of cuddled up with him and slept. It was very sweet. One time, I wanted to get another kitten, so that way Penny would have someone closer to her own age to play with. And so we started interviewing kittens by letting a rescue group bring some over so I could see which ones my existing cats could get along with. And the answer was none. Penny was not having any of it. She was not interested in another cat, no way, no how. And so she would chase them under the bed. And Chubbs, he would actually go to the foot of the bed, which was so low to the ground that the adult cats couldn't fit underneath it. But Chubbs would just hang out at, on the floor near the foot of the bed and wait for the kittens to come to him. And they did. And before you knew it, they were all cuddling with Chubbs. And the reason why those people rescued him was because he was following everyone to their cars, which is very dangerous, because he was desperate for someone to take him home. So finally, a group of people took him home. They open fed him. They realized he was kind of sick. He was a trapped neuter release cat, which they obviously didn't know because they open fed him and assumed that he was a female cat because he gained weight so quickly, hence the name Chubs. They actually put a pink bow on him, and they dyed his little kitty claws pink on all four paws. Can you imagine the patience of this cat that they literally painted all his claws pink? Not the caps. They painted it with polish and then put him in a cardboard box and basically abandoned him a second time on the doorstep of One of a Kind Pets with a note basically explaining how they picked him up in a Save-A-Lot parking lot and how they thought he was a pregnant female. For example, when we first got Penny, she accidentally locked herself in an upstairs room. He sat dutifully on the stairs and would wait for us to pass by. And then he would walk up the stairs and indicate that there was something going on the other side of the door. And the thing is, we were the dumb ones. We didn't catch on what he was doing right away. So we would pass him. We passed him a couple times before we realized, oh, he's trying to tell us there's something going on the other side of this door. We open the door and there's Penny staring right at us like, meow, you know, but she was so little, we wouldn't have heard her meow. He led us to her like, you know, Lassie telling someone that Timmy fell down the well. Like it was so cute. But I mean, that's the kind of cat he was. He accidentally locked himself in a bathroom once. And apparently he had to go to the bathroom. This is an absolutely true story. He took a piece of newspaper, because I used to actually subscribe to the physical version of the Wall Street Journal for a while there. He took a piece of newspaper that was in the bathroom and he dragged it into the bathtub and he peed on that instead of just peeing in the tub. So not only did he know that he should pee in the tub and not on the floor, but he basically made himself a little place to do it. Because he probably felt guilty or something. Like, it probably didn't feel right because he's a cat. Maybe he just wanted to hear the crinkling sound or something. I don't know. I will never know why he thought to do this. But my cat literally thought to put newspaper down to pee on top of that instead of just peeing in the tub when he could have just peed on the floor. He went to the vet multiple times at the end there. Back and forth, and he never meowed once. Not once. Another cool thing about Chubs is he loved to cuddle so much. We called him the hug ninja. He would stalk the hug really slowly, particularly if you were coming over to spend the night, like if you visited from out of town. You shouldn't be surprised if you went to sleep with a pillow under your head and you woke up with Chubs' belly as your pillow, and he would wake you up like a purring, fuzzy alarm clock. His response to pain and trauma was he would seek out help. More opportunity for healing exists in those connections. Because none of us like to talk about death or dying. None of us enjoy these topics. But they're an essential part of our journey here on this planet. And even sometimes being productive isn't a panacea. Like, if your grieving strategy doesn't involve being productive, don't force it, right? If you would like to share with me the story of a fur baby or someone that you've really loved that you lost, where you want to talk about the positive impact that they've had on your life, share it in the comments, please. I think that is the Chubsian way, is literally to spread that positivity that comes from memories and to focus on the impact that they made, that positive impact, and not how they were lost. Because how their life ended does not define who they were or what they meant to you. And the other thing, by the way, if you really want to practice the Chubsian way, is go eat a bunch of food. Last night, for example, we went to the Olive Garden in honor of Chubs because he would have wanted it that way.
Hey Gary, you want some lap? Yeah, you want some lap? This is Gary. Hi, Gary. Hi. Oh, Gary's a good boy. He's like a muppet. Oh, he's purring in my ear. You can't fit on my shoulder, buddy. I know you're gonna try, but you're too big. You're too big of a kitty. Yeah. You don't fit. But this is nice.
Mm.